Welcome in to the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick. This is your weekly gaming podcast from Co-op 64. We got a good show for you this week. We're talking Xbox. We got some major Xbox news coming up, but for now, a lot of speculation to be had. So we're going to kind of go over that, give our official statement on where we think this is going to go. Then we are going to hop into a few reviews for Granblue Fantasy Relink and FoamStars. I'm going to talk about P3 Reloaded, Reload, yeah. For a little bit. I'm only dug in a few hours into that, but more than I had last week because I'm playing a bunch of games all at once right now. And then we're going to draft some zombies maps. Zombies. So that's going to be a good show for you. So do you want to hop into the Xbox conversation to kick this off?
Real quick, how you been?
Good. We just smacked up some canes.
Yeah. Got a little food baby going.
Oh, I'm so stuffed and I feel so gross. I mean, like, I love canes. It's similar to Penn Station, which I was talking about earlier this week, where, like, it's so good when I'm eating it. And then, like, once I'm done, I'm just like, I gotta lay down and rethink my entire life. Because, like, it is just a lot to take in. Like, it's just, ugh.
Do you want to mention the big news that just...
We have a camera.
Yeah.
We got a new camera. Are we looking good? Are we looking spicy?
Yeah.
Are we really upgrading for the visual listeners, those who watch on the YouTube page? So we appreciate your guys' support there. This is all only possible with your guys' support on Co-op 64 Day. We have officially upgraded the mics, upgraded the cameras. We got a few more things that we're still looking into upgrading. But this has been a journey to get all of this set up and work our way around it. And it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's been a long road, but we're happy to be here. And honestly, it's just like I've said, through all this, it's a learning process. We're still learning how to use all this shit, but like, it's just nice that things sometimes work. Like the camera wasn't too bad to get together. The mics weren't too bad to get, like, it just works. It's nice.
Yeah, and we're not losing content left and right now like we were earlier.
Yeah.
On the old mic, we were losing content.
Knock on wood. We're gonna lose something eventually soon. Yeah.
Right. Eventually, but our chances have gone down drastically.
Yeah, it went from like 30% chance, it felt like.
Right.
Now it's like 2. Yeah, I've been good. Life's good. We got Super Bowl tonight, which is my second favorite holiday.
As Patriots fans, like, obviously, like, I want the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl, and that would be like the most interesting to me, closely followed by the Bengals being in the Super Bowl since we're in Cincinnati, and I like everybody's energy, everybody's excitement. That was a lot of fun a few years ago. But man, this is one of the worst Super Bowls I could possibly imagine. Like, I just don't care about either of these teams.
I like the 49ers.
I don't care about the 49ers. There isn't a narrative here that I enjoy. Like, the Lions would have been a fun narrative. The Ravens would have been a fun narrative.
The Bills would have been really fun.
Yeah, like, but like the Chiefs, nobody likes the Chiefs because they've been too good for too long. And there's like the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift situation where people have their opinions on that, which whatever. Like, but I don't want to even like talk about that because like it's like I just want to talk about
games,
the game. But like, not that like I'm. There's a reason that Taylor Swift keeps being brought up at these games, which makes sense to me. She's the most famous person in the entire world, so good for her.
Yeah.
But so there's that with the Chiefs and the 49ers. Like, you have the Brock Purdy thing, but then the conversation always devolves into he's getting carried by McCaffrey and the defense, and it's like, sure.
Yeah,
I guess, but why is this the conversation we're having every single time?
Mahomes is getting carried quite a bit by his deep. Like, who cares? I'm just excited to watch the game, eat some good food, and edit a shit ton of videos.
I'm not excited to watch this game at all.
I'm literally the entire time going to be editing videos. When this posts, you got to wait a day, and then hopefully there's another long-form content on YouTube.
There you go. There's a little tease for you, I guess. So yeah, let's jump into the Xbox conversation. Let's hear it. What do we got for it?
So, as a self-proclaimed fan of Xbox and the Team Green movement, we had our predictions at the start of this year, and we discussed.
I nailed one of them.
Yeah, that things starting to go.
I said there will be a laid-out plan for Xbox games on other platforms, and this was when the Hi-Fi and Sea of Thieves was like the only conversation.
Just the sprinkles of
and now it seems like it's
and now
it's coming to fruition.
So, but yeah, it's going to be a long, interesting conversation. Connor and I sort of have discussed this over the past week on different forms of content. This is our official statement, but I want to start here, Connor. this news gets leaked, and it starts out with like the Twitter leaks, the Reddit leaks, where it's like, oh, like, okay, like, is this real? Like, is this really happening?
We're talking like the hi-fi stuff.
I'm talking about this week. Leaks start happening, where it is just like, I think the first big one was Starfield and everything,
Right.
like, and then it just snowballed. What was your initial thoughts? Just like, I don't want to get into predictions. I don't want to get into any of that yet. Just like, where you're sitting, where you're on your phone, all of a sudden, like, oh shit, this is happening, and then just snowballs. What's going through your brain as it's snowballing?
So when the Starfield thing was happening, and that was the initial thing that people were talking about, like, I was like, that makes sense to me. Like, Bethesda was apparently pissed that Xbox buys Activision and basically says that a lot of Activision games are still going to be coming out on PlayStation. So they're like, okay, well, we at Bethesda we're forced to make games only for Xbox, and there isn't a huge install base on Xbox. So you have Xbox and PC. They're like, well, why can't we release our games and everything? So that was a narrative that was going around for a while, that they were unhappy about that. So then when it's revealed Starfield is coming over and Starfield's sales were relatively soft and the reception was relatively soft, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense to me. And then pairing with that original argument that I was talking about, that like the pieces were fitting together. And then it was more and more and more, and I was like, okay, that's weird, but like it would never be Gears and Halo, right? Like nothing that's like connected so deeply with Xbox. And then those rumors start flying, and it's like, oh no, like it's one of those situations that like I just am not happy about it in general. As a consumer, just on a selfish standpoint, I think it's great. I'm excited to have an option to play these games on PlayStation and get trophies, because that's my preferred platform. But as somebody who enjoys the industry and is tasked with trying to look to the future and see and analyze how this is going to affect the medium that I love and the industry that I love, I think it's going to be horrible for Xbox. I think it's going to be horrible for gamers. I think it's going to be horrible for PlayStation, like for their future in making games. So I'm not excited about it. But in the short term and selfishly, I think it's exciting. Okay, but that's it.
Yeah, for me, my hair got blown back quite a bit when it started coming to just bang, bang, bang. Like it was
the snowball. Definitely.
Name a major Xbox game. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And then I think the big one for everyone was Gears, when it was like, oh shit, right. Like even like they are already planning for a future game potentially to come on this console. That was huge. And now the nice part is we get to take a deep breath, admit and say it out loud. These are all rumors. There is nothing confirmed. We are just speculating. Certain people that reported these rumors are like, actually, this might not even be true. This might not even. So like,
it seems like based off of what I've seen, the extent of it is not necessarily true.
Yes.
Like the idea that Gears and Halo are coming, it's like, oh, the next Gears and the next Halo are coming. It might be the Master Chief Collection.
Yep.
And like Gears 1 and
Gears 3,
like older Gears games, maybe not even like 4 or 5. You can like legacy content is what the terms that people throw around, like older stuff that really isn't probably getting a ton of additional sales. Everybody who wants the Master Chief Collection on Xbox probably has it via Game Pass or has bought in it previously. So if you want to double dip on that, the only way to really do that is to release it on other consoles. So like that makes sense to me. But so like it's the extent.
Yep.
Like that's what I think.
That's where the rumors are starting to like almost like we had the high end, we had the it's just this, and then it was
everything,
and then it's now sort of evened out. But I'm feeling a lot better. I think a lot of deep breaths. It's the internet, so that's never gonna happen. But deep breaths needed to be taken to be like, let's organize, let's get things together. And then Phil Spencer says, "Hey, we're gonna have a conversation in a week." I want to. Let's add this in here. That tweet goes out. What's the first thing that hits your mind?
It's confirmation for me.
Yeah.
It's happening. To what extent, once again, is a question. But like, it's all just rumors and speculation until he says something. And in the past, Xbox rumors have been floated, and whether it be him or somebody else from Xbox has come out and flat out said, no, that's not happening, or at least addressed it head on. This is so cagey in a way to just give them more time to like get a proper response that makes me believe like there is a lot of truth to a lot of what is being said out there. And if that's the case, then like, damn, this is uncomfortable because the idea that we have to wait a week and now hopefully only a couple more days by the time this releases, it's tough because the dots are in everybody's minds at this point, and the speculation is swirling, and when that's the case and there isn't information out there, like it can get really out of control, and I think that's where we're at currently, where things are getting out of control.
I think that it's almost been reined in a little bit in the past couple days,
Yeah.
but those like first 48 hours were some of the most electric gaming news hours ever. Like Connor and I have gone back and forth being like, this is potentially the biggest news story of the year, and we might get a Switch 2. This might be the biggest news story in the past 10 years if it goes a certain
20
way.
years.
It might be Xbox dying and going away forever. We'll get to that in a moment. But I want to just dial in and sort of maneuver this conversation in a way that we get to answer the questions the way we want to answer them. I know that sounds dumb, but I feel like a lot of people have gone down and pulled a bunch of different threads and sort of get lost in the sauce with each thread. We want to make sure that you guys understand what we're saying, what we think about this, because it is a lot. It is not just, hey, is the Xbox doing this? There's so many different caveats, and I want to start with this first one. What happens if every single game is just, boom, it's out on other platforms, day and date releases?
I mean, without a shadow of the doubt, that's the end of Xbox as a console manufacturer. And if that is the case, I could make the argument that this is it. That this is the last generation for Xbox. Though there is rumors that they're making another box and a handheld in 2026. So does that get scrapped for this plan? I don't know. What does that look like? But from that scenario, if everything's coming out day and date, like there's just no reason to own an Xbox. You're going to make the argument that Game Pass is cheaper. The issue is that you are a layman walking into a store. You're not us who follows video games, and they say this box has everything, and you buy the games, they work on it, and then you play them on there. This box has a quarter of the things. But you get to pay $15 a month instead and get access to all of them. Like, you get access to Call of Duty, depending on if it comes to Game Pass or whatever, which I don't think it ever will, because it's too expensive of a deal for them to do it. And they're leaving way too much money on the table. So, or you can pay for 1/4 of the games on this box and be shut off to most video games. It's like nobody's making. I'm sorry, like. That would be a crazy thing to choose the one with less content on it.
Yeah,
you have to be in a very specific situation to end up on there. Like all your friends play on Xbox, and there is no cross play on whatever. So
I think the value proposition in Connor's right. I've brought this up on multiple pieces of content. I've backtracked a little bit. It's almost that like this scenario that everything's day and date. Every single game, like Halo 7, Gears 6, like these are games that are coming out on the same day as Game Pass as they are PlayStation or Switch 2 or PC. I think it's just so stupid that it's almost like there's no way that that's the actual course of action here.
Unless they're just full on that the plan is to just be a software
publisher.
And that's, we saw Sega do that. So it's not unheard of that people have had success doing that. So if that's the route that they want to go, then that's fine. But I think it's going to piss off a lot of Xbox diehard fans who recently bought their Series X for the promise of X, Y, and Z being available on there and choosing that over PlayStation. And now the idea that they can they could have had all the PlayStation exclusives and the Xbox exclusives without having to wait. Like that's a bad look for Microsoft and Xbox. So
yeah, what if now moving into the next caveat time code wise of what if it is certain games are day and date, meaning that Hi-Fi Rush 2 is coming out on Switch to the same day it comes out on Xbox Game Pass, but Halo's not coming out day and date. A lot of major games are coming out day and date. A lot of the major games are just on Xbox forever, and that's just where
just
we're at.
On Xbox.
So I'm saying that like certain games, like Hi-Fi Rush 2 or like
I mean, like the argument or the question that I would have for clarification is like Doom Year One, the new Doom game that's coming out. That's day and date on PlayStation. In my opinion.
So but that's on
I think
PlayStation.
a lot of Bethesda. I think Elder Scrolls 6 day and date PlayStation.
Blade for sure.
Blade for sure because they were cagey and weird about it. Yeah, I think all of these
So,
games.
but
I think Bethesda games that
you
have
think
at least some sort of history on PlayStation
now
will
coming out on
always
PlayStation.
be day and date. That's what I expect from this personally. I think there will be key Xbox exclusives that are like Xbox Game Studios exclusives, like your Obsidian, your Ninja Theory,
Initiative.
like them. I think that would make sense. But if they want to recuperate their money from the ABK deal, they got to be looking in the other areas.
and
then also it comes back to the argument that I made about Bethesda being unhappy about picking and choosing on who gets to release on PlayStation and who doesn't.
So if it is just certain games, I think that this is actually not doomsday for Xbox as a console provider.
I think it is.
But if you're saying that the main reason that people are buying Xbox games are for console exclusive,
people don't buy Xbox games.
Xboxes.
They buy Game Pass.
The reason that they buy Xboxes is for the overall value proposition of Game Pass at this point. Unless you just play Forza, like I just don't see Forza coming out day and date on certain things compared to other things. This is just me. Unless we get into scenario 3, which is, in my opinion, first scenario, I'm like, dude, yeah, you're done making software most likely, or the boxes basically. Hardware, thank you. You're done making hardware. You're done with a lot of the fucking ins and outs of like being, you're Sega. That's just what you become, and that's fine. You're going to be the most successful publisher ever with companies under you like Activision, Blizzard King, and Bethesda. But the most likely scenario in my mind is the news comes out and they say timed exclusives. I think that they're going to come out and just be like, yeah, we firmly believe that putting things on other consoles is important because why wouldn't we want to double dip? PlayStation does it. Like we sort of do it already to some extent with our PC providing on PC Game Pass and stuff like that. I think at the end of the day that this is most likely going to be what happens because it makes in my mind obviously like what makes the most sense is none of this happens. This all sounds batshit insane. But now being like, okay, Sea of Thieves, 1,000%, I think we're in agreement. Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush on other consoles. That's happening, guaranteed. For those games, every person that really wants to play Xbox Game Pass and play Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush have done it on Xbox Game Pass. If you want to do that by now, if you are a subscriber to that. If not, I think that it's fine to go and release these consoles and make some money elsewhere.
Release these games.
What?
Release these games and make.
Yeah, release these games on other consoles and make some money elsewhere. Like, and I know that a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'll just wait for it on like PlayStation when and like there are certain gamers that's gonna be fine for." But things like Starfield and for the hardcore gamer audience, if you're saying that I can get Elder Scrolls 6 a year early on Xbox compared to eventually come to PlayStation, yeah, sure, it's gonna be a nice, huge, great little sales bump and new stories for Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out again on PlayStation, and people will be like, "Oh, I should have just waited for." But no, you want to be part of the zeitgeist. You want to be part of that atmosphere, day one, drop one, and be able to play these games right when you want to be able to play them, and also play it on the best deal in gaming with Game Pass. And so, I think that that's gonna be the most likely outcome with this entire thing is timed exclusives. Not the major games. I don't think that we will see Gears loading up on a PlayStation. And if we do, it sure as hell will not be for at least 1 year after release.
So the new Gears. I would say
new Gears.
I would say for old Gears, I think that's almost definitely happening at this point.
But once again, who gives a fuck? If that's what's moving boxes in the first place. Why the reason we play Sony games and pick up PlayStation consoles compared to just wait for them on PC is because we want to play them day one when they come out.
Yeah. I'm just not sure. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. In my opinion, the way that this all makes sense and could work in their benefit is that, especially with long-running series, you have a game exclusive on Xbox that comes out a year later on PlayStation or however
Yeah.
long it is, and that hooks the person into that series or whatever, the new Doom game. And then they're like, okay, I like Doom. I played it on my PlayStation. Next Doom game comes out. It's a year early on Xbox, and they're like, okay, well now I want to
Yep.
play. I'm a fan of Doom now.
Totally.
You got me into the Xbox ecosystem. Let me go buy a Xbox, get Game Pass, and now I'm in.
Yeah.
The issue with that is that it feels like a lot of steps for a very specific type of person. You know what I mean? Like,
but
that logic has to all kind of fall into place, and I don't know if that logic is going to be sound for like everybody who plays a Xbox game on PlayStation. I think a lot of people will play the Xbox game on PlayStation and be like, that was a lot of fun, but I have the new Spider-Man game coming out.
Yeah.
I have another God of War coming out. I have the next Naughty Dog game coming out. I've got plenty to play on PlayStation. I'm okay with waiting a year to play the next Doom game, even though I'm excited about Doom at this point. So I think that the logic that Xbox is probably using is that first bit of logic that like we're gonna get people hooked on the Xbox games, and then they're gonna want to be able to come over and play them day and date. I don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't think that that's the reason, though. I don't think that they're trying to recuperate people back into their ecosystem.
That's why Sony releases stuff on PC. They're getting an audience to play PlayStation games, and then they play the PlayStation game, and then they go and buy a PS5 because they want to play the next one day and date. But
that's part of the reason. But another part of the reason is they get to fucking make more money off the PC gamers.
So is it all about just making more money from the games or whatever? Or is it about selling boxes? Because if it's about selling boxes, then this is a horrible idea.
Yeah, it's never.
And then once you let the genie out of the bottle, you can't put it back. And then once the ball is rolling and the expectation is there for Xbox games, it's going to be okay. This one's 6 months. This one's 3 months. This one's a year for the time of exclusivity, and it's just going to keep getting whittled down to the point where there is no reason to have an Xbox, which I do not think is good for gamers. I do not think it is good for the industry. I think it is, like I said at the top of this, like I am going to be stoked to be able to play all of these games on PlayStation and play them hopefully not too far after release on Xbox. But Sony's already in a really complacent and lazy position. I feel like everything is very safe that they do. Currently, nothing is super weird and exciting, and the lack of new IP is very notable at this point. That is going to get worse if Xbox is not competitive with them. So I'm not excited about this, honestly. I hope it doesn't happen.
I want to double back on something, though. I don't think that they've admitted they don't care about selling boxes. I think that Microsoft
I don't think that's... I understand that they might say that out loud, but I don't think that that's true. Like they want to make money on selling Xboxes.
Yeah, they want to make more money, but I think that
they want a bigger rip on games. They would rather people buy an Xbox and buy a PlayStation.
No, that's true. I think
like,
they would much
the idea
rather,
that they don't give a shit at all about it and they just care about selling Game Pass is ridiculous.
I understand, but what I'm saying is they care about it. This is basically a new market that they're allowed to explore that they weren't before.
Like they bought ABK for $70 billion to sell Xboxes.
They bought. I think they bought ABK for $70 million to just make money off of ABK games. Because why not? Because that's what you got to do when you're buying something like that.
I don't believe.
I think that they bought Bethesda to sell Xboxes.
Yeah.
I don't think they bought ABK for 70. Like you can't just have the ecosystem's not big enough, honestly, for them to buy ABK and then just be like, hey, we're doing this all exclusive. They would need if because of all the FTC stuff. There's no world where Call of Duty 10-year partnership on going on other consoles. They care about making money elsewhere. And at this point, when it comes to dollars and cents, and I think that if you were an Xbox fan, I am as someone that like we both have said many times, we're fucking rooting for them so much. We want good games. We want a reason to go out and buy an Xbox. Right now, it feels like there's no fucking reason to buy an Xbox until we get news on this. But if it is timed exclusives, then take the double hit. Why not? Like, why not take the extra money? That it literally is free money.
It's not free money because it's gonna tank your console sales. It's about weighing that. Are you okay with selling more games on the other console? To just let your own console eventually fail and die out. I think this scenario that we're talking about where it's a timed exclusivity, I think that will delay them getting out of the space.
Yeah.
But it will eventually lead to them being. I think they're opening the door to be on other platforms, and then that will give them the opportunity to kick it down and just leave altogether.
I want to go and enter the next phase of this conversation of, is there a reason to buy an Xbox? And do they give a fuck? Because I don't think they. I
Does
think that
Microsoft
they
give a
just
fuck?
want to. I think they just want to put Game Pass on Samsung's TVs. I think they want to put Game Pass on PC. I think they want to be just a games provider at a certain point. And consoles are a nice option if you want it, but they're not banking on console sales anymore because they aren't really. They Phil Spencer admitted we lost the quote unquote console war, and also. It's the dumbest quote ever. I think that there's a chance that he might want to retroactively take this back of like, we don't need good games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you kind of do. If you made good games, people would buy your shit. Like that's how it goes.
Right.
But yeah, in my opinion, there's no reason to have an Xbox right now. As someone that has talked company and business with you and Brady, I'm like, yeah, I would love to have an Xbox just so it's easier for us when it comes to streaming and stuff like that for our Xbox Game Pass games, playing games like Halo on the couch and everything. It's like, do we really want to spend money on that? Do I want to spend my own money on it? No,
Right.
fuck no. It's
No, I mean, I've thought this way for a while about Xbox when it comes to playing their games on PC, that I don't think there's really a purpose. I would rather just upgrade my PC for X amount of money to play Xbox games at a higher fidelity. But otherwise, if this is the case and games are coming to PlayStation, it's just one other tick in the no column for why I don't want an Xbox. I didn't own the original Xbox. I owned a 360, a series, or sorry, and a Xbox One, and I like the ecosystem, and I think like the UI is really impressive, and I like some of the games, but like it's not worth it for me.
last question before we get into some more speculation and predictions. It's just something that needs to be said. I think we're both on the same page about it. Doesn't need to be talked about too long. Will Xbox Game Pass come to other consoles?
I don't think Sony will let it
Yep.
come to their own console. They already
Yeah.
have their own thing, and well, there is an argument to be made that there might be like a piecemeal, like Xbox exclusive, like smaller, toned down version of Game Pass with just Xbox exclusive games on there.
Yeah.
To get that like little rip. Because then there would be too much. If not, there's too much crossover
Yeah.
between.
You can't have games like Minecraft that's $20 in your store, but then 15 on Game Pass, and they're right next to each other.
No, I'm saying that there's games that are on PlayStation Plus Premium.
Oh, that
are probably on Xbox
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass, and they can't be competing with themselves on their own platform. They're trying to sell PlayStation Plus Premium
So they
and
can
extra.
get all that money.
They can't have Game Pass taking money away from them in that capacity. So it literally would need to be like Halo, Gears, Pentiment,
Forza.
games like that, like on that smaller version of Game Pass on PlayStation, and I don't see that happening.
Nintendo?
That's possible, and especially with the new Switch, if it's as powerful as a PS4, like they said, like that would make sense. But it's still another one of those things that people buy fucking games on Nintendo, games
Yeah.
that they don't even need. Like it's similar to Steam, where it's like people just like to have a library, and they're like, oh, I can take this on the go. I've already bought it like 3 times on other consoles, like Skyrim, but like Skyrim on the go, yeah, great. I'm gonna buy it on Switch, and then like you just never really end up playing it.
You want to know my favorite line about the Switches ever? I can play it on an airplane. How often are you going on fucking airplanes?
Some people a lot.
No, like, I
and to be fair
understand.
with the airplane thing, it's so funny for me is I get so excited to play my Switch on the airplane every single time, and I
Ready to
fall
sleep.
asleep every single time. I'm like, I'm gonna play this game on the way there, and I'm gonna play this game on the way back, or whatever. I'm gonna finally beat this game. I've been waiting for a good plane trip. I got a long plane trip, and I get on the plane and I fall asleep every single time. It's hilarious. It's so funny. I've been trying to finish Celeste for years because I've only played Celeste on the plane. You know this?
Yeah.
I've literally only played Celeste on airplanes. I'm on the final level, and I've just been like,
I'm waiting for the next flight.
we'll get around to it next flight, and I'll hopefully be more awake. But I start playing, I'm like, man, I'm eepy on this plane. But yeah, no, I don't see that happening on Nintendo because of the same reason of people buy games on Nintendo, and if you can get them to buy the game for full price and get that money, Nintendo's going to take that over selling Game Pass. There's no reason. Like, what is the benefit for them?
There isn't, but it's just a conversation that's been on the internet of we want to just.
It's funny. I didn't really dig into it until right now as to why it's a stupid idea. And
It's just a really dumb idea.
I always kind of was like, yeah, that'll eventually happen. I'm like, why would that happen?
It makes no.
In the same way, we need to
sense.
be a piecemeal, toned down version of just Xbox games on
for
that platform.
$7, $8, whatever it is. All right, now let's get into actual predictions. Let's just say it's Wednesday. They say Wednesday. I don't know why I'm going with Wednesday, but Wednesday this week, they say we're going to do an event. First question, foremost, what is the format of this? Is it a 20-minute, 30-minute video? Is it 5 minutes? Is it Phil Spencer? Is it Sarah Bonds? Is it like who's coming out, and how is it being presented to make you as an Xbox fan feel like, hey, you don't absolutely suck? Because it honestly feels like we're having a conversation where someone's like about to tell us our dog died. Like it's so uncomfortable. So how do they soften that blow?
I don't think they soften the blow. I think it's a blog post.
That's wild.
I don't think it's going to be a video. There's too much volatility in that on pinning it on an individual when they can speak as the Xbox team in a blog post and have a really curated message and with details on how it's all going to go down and what the future is, and really kind of like edit and make sure it's up to snuff and goes through PR and everything, rather than have somebody on camera being like, hey, we are basically telling you your Xbox is useless now, and then getting that person a lot of hate.
The issue that I have with that, and I'm not saying that that's a bad prediction, because I think that there is a world where that is it. That's not going to be my general prediction, but I get that. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Is that Phil Spencer tweeted out. If Xbox tweeted out saying, hey, we hear you guys, it's all going to be okay, in my opinion, it would be like, okay, yeah, like, blog post makes a little bit more sense. But the fact that Phil, who is you think of Xbox, you think of a person, you think of Phil. Mm-hmm. The fact that he tweeted out, I legitimately like, it's going to be Phil with a dev studio green screen behind him. Like, it's going to be just like an Xbox logo and Bethesda shit in the background. And you're going to see a little Doom guy in the background. And it's going to be like,
it's bad news. You don't want to make an event out of giving bad news to your fan base. Like, that doesn't seem right. It seems like it needs to be really cut and dry and really kind of unexciting to just be like, hey, this is the future. Yep. This is what we're doing. This is what is coming over. This is what's going to be timed for now, and this is our plan for putting somebody.
Question for you though. I got a little question for you. It's not written down. I didn't really think about this. What do they pair with some good news? Hey, we are doing next console is coming out in 2025.
2026.
Hey, I know that that's the time period that it's said for. Maybe just say 2025 just to like alleviate some of the blow. Hey, Gears of War.
It's the shortest console of like generation I've ever heard of. It's really weird.
It's odd. Well, a lot of people said it's going to be a mid upgrade. I think that the reason it's pushed up is the Series S. They want to be done with the Series S and making people make games for the Series S.
Series S was such a bad idea. Yeah. In the long term.
In the long term, it was.
In the short term, it seemed like a good idea.
Amazing. It was like for me, I was like, I'm going to pick up a Series S. Now I have.
There was almost double. The Series
S is the Nexus. It's the cheapest option to get into the next generation. I think that's a great value proposition, but the issue is now teams don't want to. Devs are like, go fuck yourself. I do think that there is a chance that they try to come out with some level of decent news alongside this, because I agree. So. It sort of just triggers something to me, being like, this is going to be awful. Like, this is going to be one of the most just fucking brutal experiences ever for this team to come out and just be like, hey, we suck. like that's awful. Like, you can't do that. And I do agree that putting it on one person, I do think that if they were to come out, it would be Phil, it would be Sarah, it would be maybe like even Tom. Like, you get a group of people to have that conversation and be like, it's okay, we're okay. Like because that way it doesn't get pinned.
It's even with that.
At the end of the day, though, it's going to get pinned on Phil.
At the end of the day, it's bad news, and delivering in any sort of spectacle which would be,
Yeah.
I feel like a video by default is kind of like,
An event.
yeah, we just relate to these kind of direct messages from developers and publishers to Nintendo Directs or State of Plays or Xbox Developer Directs. It's like, okay, well now we're doing like kind of something like that, but for bad news. Like that's it for bad news for Xbox fans, good news for everybody else for the time being.
Real quickly, I think that we are getting a Direct this week.
A Nintendo Direct?
And I think that this has to happen before it.
No, because they were going to do this at the end of the month before it got leaked.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't going to do it.
Well, I think that there's a chance still that Hi-Fi Rush is in that Direct.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that they would have done Hi-Fi Rushes in the Direct, and then a lot of questions would have happened, and then they would have done it.
Yeah, maybe.
But now it's maybe.
And we'll see if we
get
get a Direct.
before.
I don't think it's guaranteed by any means.
Do you think that there's a world where they pulled it from the Direct?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying I just don't think that there's going to be a Direct. Possibly, I'm kind of starting to think that like, kind of hope there isn't a Direct rather than just stay silent for now.
You waiting for
just want that
March?
Switch too.
You waiting for that March reveal that's rumored?
What do you mean?
Have you not heard about this?
March
Yeah.
reveal for the Switch. Yeah.
I think that it's time. I think
That makes sense. Yeah. So just don't even say anything. You can hold out till
March.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be exciting.
Properly reveal the console.
And lastly, it's a brief one. I think we've touched on this. What is your official prediction of what we get told? Is it timed exclusive? Is it how deep do they go?
I think many games are going to be day and date, and I think some games are going to be timed exclusive. I think that you can take it to the bank. Like I said, that the new Doom day and date, Blade, Elder Scrolls. I think Indiana Jones will be timed exclusive. I think Starfield is similar. Obviously, that Starfield's going to come over probably in the next year and be on PlayStation. I think that's just going to be. And then like Halo and Gears, I think is going to be maybe a year, maybe 2 years or something along those lines. But there will be some sort of plan laid out. There needs to be details. Yeah. They can't just say like some games are coming over day and date. Some games are coming over in a timed exclusivity window. If that's just how they present it, like it's gonna present so many questions for the fan base. Like, what is coming over? Yeah. When is it coming over? How? Like, you can't leave this event with more questions than answers. Like, so yeah, that's my perspective.
I'm in the boat that I think it is not. Because I think it's dumb. At the end of the day, I've just come to this conclusion. I think it's more dumb to put things on there. It's not worth the money you can make by putting these games day and date on there. I think nothing's day and date, including Blade, including Doom. And obviously, these big Bethesda titles are the like key linchpins. Those are the main question marks. And like what you said, you can't leave with that being the question. I think that the major games that they case by case will put on other consoles are timed exclusives, meaning that it's a year. I hope that they come out and say every game that you buy on Xbox, and this in my opinion totally saves the console. Like it totally makes them still console providers. Lets us have some insurance of like they are what they are, and it's totally fine. They are what they've always been, which is pretty mid at making games. But at least there's a reason to buy those games because you get them day and date before anyone else. And I think that it's a year of time exclusivity. If you say 1 year of time exclusivity for any major title, at least sign me the fuck up. I'll still buy an Xbox.
I won't. Because I'll just play it on PC.
Oh, well, yeah. But if certain games aren't on PC Game Pass, then you want that Xbox goodness.
Right.
Put Party Animals on PC Game Pass. Okay.
Here's something stuck in your little tooth.
Middle one?
Yep, middle, bottom. We are going to... You got it?
Yep.
Let me see. Yeah, you got it. We're going to get into the Granblue Fantasy Relink review. All right, do you want me to just like kick it off?
Yeah.
You good to go? Because it's going to be on TikTok, so we got to make an official video. Feeling good?
Man, by the way, just before... Oh, actually, no, we'll do that side conversation after.
All right. Nick, you have played and beaten Granblue Fantasy Relink. What is your review?
Granblue Fantasy Relink is a game that you totally put on my map. I knew about this game, but I didn't really understand beyond it being a action JRPG with terrific art style and this world of games or like these characters, totally brand new to me. With that being said, Granblue Fantasy Relink is the perfect appetizer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I would give it a 8 out of 10 on the Co-op 64 scale. This game does everything that I could want it to do from what you proposed to me originally. It's a great action JRPG with a shit ton of style. The music's great. The world's great. You're just flying around with this crew of sky pirates and you're trying to save the world. It's as stupid as it can be, but it's also terrific. The fighting mechanics are great. The big headline for the fighting mechanics are they just made better Spider-Man fighting mechanics with your R1 opening up your wheel special attacks, but then when you're just mashing square, there's also your triangle button rotates out between combo finishers or a power slash or stuff like that, where your active like battling is super interesting. You're always waiting for that combo finisher, as well as going with your special attacks on your wheel, meaning you hold down that R1, you hit square, you hit triangle, you hit circle, you hit X. It's going to do something different every time, or something different for those movesets, and it's terrific. It's a lot of fun. This game allows you to play as many different characters, and every single one of those different characters plays very differently. There's people with guns, there's people with swords, there's people with magic abilities, healing abilities. You can play this game in any real way you want to. With that being said, there are just like boss fights that are a little bit redundant at a certain point, and this game does something that, like, the only negatives I really have against this game are the redundancies become sort of egregious at the end, where you basically boss fight everyone you previously fought. Like, it does some weird shit at the end of this game that I'm not really about, but other than that, this game is terrific. The world building is great, the characters are great, the story is, I want to keep it a little bit vague because it's an adventure that you just want to open up that first page you get hooked on with the prologue that it gives you, and then by the end of it, you're smiling ear to ear. It's a blast, and I really enjoyed this game. 8 out of 10.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I'm interested in playing it. It's a shorter JRPG, which I like that kind of experience. How do you feel about the... Because like you said, it's in a series about where it like drops you in, because I've heard that's a problem where like you're kind of just sent into the middle of a story.
I enjoyed it. Like, it's acceptable for me to not know all the pieces of how we got here, more so of how those pieces, like, you sort of get what all these characters are about and who they are from the first moment you meet them. You have your scraggly pirate old vet. You have the captain that is like the leader of the group, is centric around there. You get a knight that just wants to protect and explore the world. Like, all these characters fit this role that are sort of easy to understand by the way that they're presented. And so by the time the prologue finished, I was like, okay, rock and roll. I'm in this story now. I'm ready to rock and do this thing. There are a couple of hero off questions that I'm like, okay, if you played a bunch of these other games, you know the world better than I, it would make a lot more sense. But like, they're just small notches. It's awesome the way that they are able to just give you the main story overall. Where when I was beating this game last night, somebody asked me like, hey, can you run me through the story real quick? And I was able to do it in like 5 sentences and have it be easily explainable and great.
Right on. What is your favorite thing about Granblue Fantasy Relink?
I think that I'm gonna go with the music. There was a couple moments at the end of this game that I'm like, holy shit, this shit's bumping. Like, this is awesome. It makes those quiet moments nice, whether you're just walking around the town or doing some side missions or side quests, and you're just like, okay, like, things are quaint and nice, but when things need to feel epic, they feel epic. And I think they do a really great job building and driving the music throughout these boss fights, because the boss fights I think would be a little bit more repetitive, and around like these like good moments they become great because of the music.
Right on. Love me some good JRPG music.
Totally, dude.
So does it stand up in comparison to like Final Fantasy
No.
and Kingdom Hearts? Okay,
No,
gotcha.
no. So like, I legitimately did look up a song and I replayed it after the fact, being like, am I going to add this to one of my playlists? And I was like, I don't think so. Like, it's great for what it is, but you need the gameplay around it. You need the characters around it. I don't think it stands too great just on its own. But I really enjoyed this game. I think that it is a really great game, and if you're looking for something that is a action JRPG to wet your whistle before Rebirth, hell yeah, give this one a shot. It's only $60. You get that little, for me, gamer math discount of like, oh, I just made $10 by playing this game instead of something else. It's great.
Right.
I really enjoyed this. I'm very thankful that you put this on my radar. At the end of the day, do I think that this is going to be up there in my top
Top 10?
five, top five, top 10 at the end of the year? Probably not.
Yeah.
I think this is just a great game. Could I see it squeaking on there or being around that 15 area? If I play 30, 40 games, yeah, I think it could be up there. It's a great game. I really, really enjoyed it.
Right on. We are going to get into the soap zone. We're going to get into FoamStars. Nick, you've been playing a lot of FoamStars. What is your review?
Connor, I enjoyed getting soapy for the past few days with some friends, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to give this game a 6 out of 10 on the Co-op 64 scale. Is this game a blast? Yes, it is so much fun when you're on the stakes, you're making the comms with your friends, you're having a great time, you're laughing your butt off, you're making soap jokes left and right. Like, this game has a bunch of personality, the music's solid, but at the end of the day, it is so content light, where there's only 3 game modes. And after about like 30 to 40 minutes, you're sort of just like, all right, I like per play session, you're sort of just like, okay, I kind of don't want to be playing this right now. Like, I'd much rather be playing any other major release that's happening right now. And so it's been 5 days and I'm already sort of forgetting about wanting to play FoamStars, unless it's with our terrific community or with each other or something like that, where there is those fun moments, those laughs. But at the end of the day, it's too content light. I'm leaning towards that 6 area.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I would give it a 6 as well. I've played less than you have. But from my limited experience, 6 seems about right. It's very content light. The microtransactions in the game for like skins and stuff, very overpriced, very expensive.
I mean, the Battle Pass is $6. It's not
yes,
too
but
bad.
for like the individual like in store stuff, it's like
Come on,
kind of crazy. But then I think it's okay to have limited game modes. That's fine to me. It's in those game modes. There's some like jank and some problems with how it runs and how it. I feel like the hit detection is like really off. Like, I feel like I'm shooting people and not getting like a ton of damage on it. So that's like kind of an issue. But for a free game
with PlayStation Plus Essential,
free game with PlayStation Plus Essential, like, it's a great time to hop in with friends and have some laughs. And yeah, like, I don't regret my time with it at all. And I can see myself hopping in pretty regularly still with people if people are down to play in the community. So like, yeah, I'm definitely down to keep enjoying it. But like, if I'm being perfectly objective, 6 out of 10 because it's fun. It's got great style. The music, you said that you like the music.
Yeah.
I think the music is great.
Yeah, it's
I think
phenomenal.
It's really
super fun.
Might be the best part of the game.
Yeah.
I think it's great. So it's got a lot to love about it, but like, it's got a lot that it could be improved on. So
I think that there's
just shallow.
I was about to say, I think that there's also a lot of smoke and mirrors with this game, where it's like, the music's great, like, the vibes are good, you're in this like foam zone, it's a lot of fun, and then when you play it for 40 minutes, like, oh wait, really, at the surface the mechanics are very similar, you're doing the same exact stuff over and over again. What you're doing sometimes is frustrating and not as fun as you'd like it to be, whether it is. Yeah, I feel like all the time I'm hitting my shots in this game, and it's not just because I'm bad at shooters, it's more like the game doesn't have the correct hit detection. It's frustrating at moments, and all of a sudden I am just getting more upset than I am having fun after like 40 or 50 minutes. But it's one of those games that if you get a group of 4 people, you're going to laugh your ass off. You're going to enjoy that for a weekend and have a great time.
The comebacks are a lot of fun. I think the game modes that are there are really interesting too.
I think they're interesting.
I thought it was going to be more straight up like Splatoon.
Cover the map.
Yeah, cover the map, but it's not. It's more about like a King of the Hill style thing or
2v2 plus 2v2 support. Like, it's
Smash
awesome.
the Star, which you basically, your team has a set amount of lives, and then once you exhaust those lives, one player, it becomes the star player, and the other team is hunting them down and trying to take them out for the win, and like coming back in those situations where you're like down like 4 or 5 kills, and then you get it back
and
to
Star v Star.
Yeah, that's fun. Like, it's a good time, but man, like it's definitely a little shallow. But it's a 6 out of 10 game that I have 8 out of 10 moments with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, So yeah, I can easily recommend it if you have it on PlayStation Plus. Give it a go. Like, there's really no downside to trying it out.
Yep.
So yeah.
For me, I would say if you don't have a bunch of friends to play this with, you're at best you're having a couple hours of fun with it.
Yeah.
It's really just at the end of the day, and that's where the 6 out of 10 comes from, because I think that we've talked about a lot of these moments glowingly, but it's you can't play it by yourself solo to a certain extent. You can't, the moments you are playing with friends, you only really want to play for an hour and a half, and then you want to move on to some other awesome new releases. So it is what it is. But yeah, FoamStars, it's a good time. I really enjoyed. This has been a great week of gaming, and I'm happy to have been.
There's too many games right now.
So many freaking
Because
games.
I am playing Persona 3 Reload. I was only like an hour in last week. Been a busy week. I've only played like 6 hours now, but I'm digging in deeper into this world, into these characters. I'm like 30 floors up in Tartarus, which is like the main dungeon in this game. As far as I understand it, it's one dungeon. Like in Persona 4, like, it's procedurally generated dungeons, but there's multiple of them. And then in Persona 5, no more procedural generation. It is the hand-tailored dungeons, palaces, which is fucking awesome. This is like literally a tower, and you're going floor to floor to floor. And so far, they all look the same. I don't know if it's going to visually change up at some point. I assume it will, but it's like, man, like, I don't know if I like this very much. But the hook is still there. The go into the dungeon, go up some floors, beat a boss, come out of the dungeon, get some story, do your school stuff. The music is fucking ridiculously good. It's Persona, you know it. But like, it's got such a different vibe than P5, so it's a nice change of pace there. And like, it's crazy how much the music in this game hooks you into wanting to play more of it. Where like, oh, I can't wait to get to the next battle so the song can kick in. Like, the song has like the main battle theme is this like ridiculous start. Like, it's like, a man, a man, a man, a man, a man. It's like, I'm like, hell yeah, every single time. So like, I just can't wait to get into like the next battle. So that's exciting. And there's a different one for like sneaking up on somebody and initiating the battle. Like, there's a different song. So there's some nice variety there, which I like. But yeah, the music is great. The individual things that you can do outside of the school, like the different locations you can go to and spend your afternoon studying or at the cafe or whatever, like the stuff, your usual Persona stuff. There's a nice variety there, but it is your typical fare so far. I have heard the story in this game is like really the best part, and I have not dug in enough to get to what I would consider that, to see what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means yet. So like, I could see myself falling in love even further with this game. But like you said, we're playing a bunch of stuff right now. It's crazy to sit down and be like, we got FoamStars, we got Granblue, we have Persona 5, we have Pacific Drive coming up, and we have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. So it's just like, oh man, like I can't imagine myself finishing this game in any timely fashion just because there's so much to play.
Yeah.
But like, I can easily recommend it to anybody. Like, absolutely.
I was about to ask you what happens first. You beat P3 Reload, or you beat Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth?
Rebirth, 100%.
Yeah,
Not even
so.
close. Yeah. I think I could see myself talking about P3 for the next. We're gonna have we haven't discussed like for the next like 6 months on here, just because like it's just gonna be something I need to just kind of chip away at. And that's kind of what I did with P5 when it came out. Like, I played 60 hours of it, fell in love with it. Thought it was one of the greatest games I'd ever played, but it's a 100-hour long game. So I played 60 hours of it, got burnt out, played 20 hours of it a few months later, got burnt out again, and then finished out that last 20 hours and think it's one of the greatest games of all time. But with that all in mind, like, I could see that happening with P3 as well. And that's fine. Like, I just we're very busy with content creation and everything. So this is one of those things where it's like, if we ever got one full time, I would have probably already beaten this game because I would just be grinding it out on stream or whatever, like just like playing it like nonstop. But I just don't have the time to do that because I have to work a real job.
For me, this is a game that is on my list. I want to try to beat this game this year, but
there's no way. There's no way. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to beat it this year. So there's just too much good shit coming out, especially in the first half of the year. Hopefully, if the second half of the year it does remain light like we expect it to, like it's looking like it is going to, depending on what Nintendo's plans are, I'll have more time like as we go along. But March is crazy. April's stacking up a little bit.
April, we only got one game. I feel pretty good. Yeah, it's just Stellar Blade. That's the 22nd. I think that we we'll be able to play some games, and then May is Hellblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that Princess Peach Showtime. Yeah, I think that everything gets a lot lighter after Rebirth. But man, oh man, February is just like the most insane month of our fucking lives.
Yeah. Wait, what day? Princess Peach, that's the end of February?
That is the same day as Dogma and Rise of the Ronin.
Oh, the end of March.
Yeah, end of March.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So the first 5 months, I feel like are pretty set between the big three providers. It's also just like freaking February, just review after review after review. The fact that I had to quote unquote lead review 2 games on one podcast is ridiculous.
Right.
So okay.
A gluttony of excitement, though.
Yeah,
it's good. It's fun.
I'm very happy.
Alrighty, we're gonna get into the draft to close this out. How long have we been going for? Like 45 minutes.
Yeah, 55 minutes.
That's a nice little chunk. Nice little chunk of change for you guys.
No hot takes this week. We wanted to hop straight into Xbox.
Yeah, because we thought that would go long, and that did go pretty long.
Yeah, it's like a 40-minute topic, 30-minute topic.
So, you are kicking off. You get to the first pick.
I feel good. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are drafting the best Call of Duty Zombies maps. I am going to kick us off with the first pick, the right pick. I'm going with Horizon Rock. It is the best map in the game. I am nervous that you're going to 1-2 punch me with the last 2 BO2 maps. But yeah.
you already know. You got me. That's what I had DE first, and then for my first pick, I'm going to go Origins and follow it up with Mob of the Dead. 2 classics. This is why BO2 is what it is. These fantastic zombies maps, and those are highlighted, and they are pushed forward by Origins and Mob of the Dead. So yeah, those are my first 2 picks.
I think that we're drafting chalk thus far. I'm going to go and pair my DE with, I'll start it out with the BO2 one that I want. I'm going to choose Buried.
Whoa.
Infinitely replayable. It's amazing. It's not a personal S tier map, but I think that I got to get some BO2 on my team fast to combat where Connor's at with the two of the greatest, most stylized, well-realized maps in Zombies history. And I'm going to pair that with, obviously, Shadows of Evil. When this map came out, immediately a lot of people were turned off by it because there's just so much to do. It's overwhelming. But now as we've been able to chew on it for a while, you realize this gorgeously stylized map has great characters, great themes, great Easter egg, one of the best wonder weapons of all time in the Apothecary Servant. Like, it's amazing. It's one of the best maps ever. And if you are someone that just like, I gave it a shot when it first came out, trust me, go back to it. BO3 is the king of zombies for a reason, and Shadows of Evil is a damn good map.
Let me just win this draft real fast.
Okay.
Let's just close it out. You know, we're going Doris with my third pick. This is kind of where zombies took it to the next level for a lot of people. I think up to this point with Baruch and Shino Numa and Natar and Toten, like, these are great maps and have their fun, but Doris is where everyone was like, oh, This game mode is more than just like this round-based zombies thing. Like it was something special. So Doris with my third pick. With my fourth pick, we're gonna go with maybe the most iconic zombies map of all time, Kino der Toten. We're going Kino. I've got the best from like almost every single zombies, every single Call of Duty at this point. Some of the best from every single one. Wait, I don't have BO3 yet.
Yeah.
Am I going to get involved in BO3? Maybe not. But Kino der Toten, this was my introduction to zombies. I started with BO1 and loved it, and then went back to World at War. So Kino der Toten scared the shit out of me when I was younger. I was terrified of Kino der Toten, but I powered through to play with friends and go for those high rounds on Kino.
I mean, your team's terrific right now. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty nervous.
I've smoked you, dude.
Yeah.
I've absolutely smoked you.
A lot of people might say you have 3 of the top 4 maps.
Yeah.
But I know my people that know zombies, and I'm going for those picks. My next choice will be another BO3 map. I'm gonna go with Garage Crovey.
You are out of your mind, dude.
There's the S tier maps, and then there are the A tier maps. Kino der Toten is not a S or an A tier map.
But it's iconic, Nick.
Yeah, I understand. Connor, I've lost this draft. The white flag is being waved, but for the people that know ball when it comes to zombies and have been playing this game for almost 8 years at this point, I'm gonna stick with my BO3 because those are the most replayable, intense, terrific maps. And I honestly, in my opinion, I have 3 S tier maps and 1 A tier map. And I'm gonna close out my draft with another A tier map, Call of the Dead.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, it's the map you want to close it out with, just because BO1, I think a lot of people think about, Ascension, Moon, but when it comes down to the most fun, the stylized lighthouse winter set of a George Romero movie, god damn, what a map! Super, like this is the first time I legitimately have been like, oh, zombies has style. Like they're able to go and make something that is really cool and really different. And that is more apparent in this map than any BO2 map that's not named Origins or Mom of the Dead. So I think that's really what kicked off a lot of the style that we get in certain zombies maps. And I understand. I understand that a lot of people are going to be like, not enough BO2. BO2 is very beloved, very well played. But for the people that played zombies up through BO4, you know BO3 is king. You know it in your heart. Some of the best weapons, some of the best pack. Like, so if you want to, you don't have any BO3, and the ones that you're gonna choose between are like you can pull off Revelations.
I'm thinking about it. Nick, you could have had Die Rise on your team, and you chose to pass it up. You need that BO2 representation.
I have BO2 representation.
No, I'm just saying you need more.
No, I got buried, dude. I think
you could have gotten Transit, Nick.
I also do think that if you're like, Nick, let's load up a zombies map right now, I think I'd rather play Buried than Mob of the Dead or Origins. So
you're wild.
Yeah.
With my last pick, I thought about going Revelations just to get that BO3 representation on my team, but I'm going to pass it up. With my last pick, I'm going to go with Ascension. It's my personal most played map of all time. I know that the Space Monkeys are a little bit annoying for taking your perks and everything, but with friends, it's pretty manageable. If you're playing alone, all you really need is that jug, that train spot, get your guns, go for high rounds. You're going till 5 a.m.
PhD flopper.
Oh my goodness. We're going till the late hours of the morning, okay? Just playing Ascension, running in circles, okay?
Yeah. It's a great map. It's one of my all-time favorite maps. I think that we honestly drafted the 10 best maps in zombies.
Yeah.
I think that the order
Moon was up there for me. I also did thought about Nox Duran Toten.
Just for being OG.
Yeah, just for being what kicked this whole thing off. But I feel like World at War, you just have to go with Darius, and that's it.
You go Darius and you say,
and I like Varuk too.
I love Varuk. That's the other thing where wonder weapons come into play of what really drives zombies in that experience, and I think Varuk with the Wonder Waff is like one of the best experiences. What is happening with this table?
I think I don't know. Yeah. I usually can lean on it and it's fine, but this table's fart.
I think it's bending. I think that it's at the point that some of the structural integrity of some of these tables might be.
What are these, like $20 IKEA tables or something?
They were $50.
Oh, my bad.
From Amazon.
All right, I gotta close this out. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the casual gaming conversation. We post every week Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a lot of fun videos coming up for you guys across YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. We stream 4 days a week on Twitch, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10. Some fun weekend streams we have coming up include Inside. Brady's playing all of Inside this upcoming weekend on Saturday. And then the Subathon. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Subathon. We will go for 48 hours if you guys support it, playing the entirety of Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game that Nick will not shut up about, no matter how much we ask him, okay? And you guys are going to make us play it for the entire weekend.
I had a conversation with someone last night on Discord as I was playing Granblue, and they were like, is there a world, any world, that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is not your game of the year? And I thought about it for a while. And I thought about like what could come down the pipeline this year.
Mario.
And I said 3D Mario. I said Hollow Knight Silk Song could do it. And then he was like, okay, but like in your heart of hearts. And I'm like,
probably not.
Probably not. There's a chance I review something potentially higher, but when it comes to like what I just want in video games, oh my God, I just want Rebirth, dude.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We'll see you across all our other platforms. Peace out.